Hey guys, have you ever heard of your colleagues profiting from their BTO property? This profit is a much higher percentage compared to people who earn from some new condos, but why do people still buy new condos anyway? My name is Jay, and in this video, we will be examining why people choose BTO, new condo, or even resale properties. For the case of BTO, in year 2009, HDB launched a few projects, some including Skyville at Dawson and Segar Grove in Bukit Panjang. So as you can see from the price chart, the price range for 4-room flats in Skyville were from 373,000 to 504,000, and the 5-room is 532,000 to 643,000. For simplicity's sake, I will use the median price of 438,000 and 587,000 for the 4 and 5 bedroom in Skyville at Dawson respectively. Based on the transactions recently, the 4-room sales averaged 831,000 and 1.06 million for the 5-room flats. That is a whopping 400 to 420,000 profits for these BTO flats, and this translates to an approximate 91% profit and 71% profit for the 4 and 5-room at Skyville at Dawson currently. Next up, the 4-room flats in Segar Grove launched at the 210 to 250,000 range in 2009. This gives a median price of 230,000. Recently, the average prices of the 4-room there are 462,000, and this means that the owners get to profit more than 230,000, and that is 100% profit based on their purchase price. Isn't this great? That probably explains why BTOs are usually oversubscribed, as buyers not only get brand new units, they also get to enjoy substantial profit percentage as well. Do take note that for BTOs, their construction time varies from 3 to 4 years, and from there, you need to wait out another 5 years for the minimum occupation period to be over in order to sell, bringing your total time needed to be 8 to 9 years. For newer BTO projects in year 2022 and 2021, the construction time could be even longer than 5 years, so that could pull your whole timeline to be about 10 to 12 years. Okay, let's move on to the private property segment. In Jurong, there's a condo called Caspian, which launched in the same year of 2009. Back then, you could get a 3-bedroom condo for 695,000, but people still found this price to be too high last time. But that's always the case, right? At any point of time, private property always seems so expensive until you look back to the past again. Anyway, there was an owner who bought a 3-bedroom in April 2009 for 695,000. Back then, the down payment plus stamp duty was about 159,000. He sold his unit in April 2013 for a profit of 630,000. After deducting stamp duty, his actual down payment into the house was 139,000, and add that to the profit of 695,000, he had funds of 769,000 to play with. He could choose to set aside a third of these funds, about 256,000, for savings and emergency use. The remaining 2/3 of these funds, about 512,000, be redeployed to further grow his wealth. With this amount, he could invest in properties worth in total about $2.2 million. Back then, 2013 was also another property price peak in the market. Assuming he purchased another unit in Jurong East for his own stay called J Gateway for 1.29 million, and another property for investment in Pasir Ris in a condo called The Nest for 951,000, probably using his wife's name, they would stay in their Jurong East property and rent out the Pasir Ris property for rental income. In 2013, the interest rates were also relatively low. Assuming 1% interest for 30 years, the J Gateway property installment will be 3,320 monthly, and it will be 2,450 for the Pasir Ris property. The rental could cover the installment for the Pasir Ris property. Anyway, remember about the savings and emergency funds? That amounted to be about $256,000. That means that if both owners had lost their jobs, and also assuming that nobody wanted to rent their Pasir Ris property from them, these emergency funds of 256,000 could actually pay for 3 years worth of installments for both properties. That's just in case of emergency. Assuming a normal status quo situation, guess how their situation would be right now. A similar unit in J Gateway was sold recently for 387,000 profit. It was purchased previously in 2013 as well, and the Pasir Ris property could also sell for a 489,000 profit in January 2022. This brings a total potential profit throughout these 12 years to be $1 million. And looking back, their Caspian property did not grow in price anymore. In fact, it remains stagnant. Lastly, for resale HDB, depending on eligibility, a family could potentially get up to 160,000 housing grants to buy a resale flat. On top of that, you save the waiting period of construction and you can move on earlier from this property after just the 5 years MOP. And as usual, for all our videos, we always have a learning points, right? So today, what can we learn from this video? Firstly, there are many options that one can take. If you have observed properly, the main differentiator between these three property types is actually time. A private property has a minimum holding period of 3 years due to the seller stamp duty taxes involved if you were to sell within 3 years. For resale HDB, your minimum occupation period MOP will be 5 years. And lastly, for BTO and new EC, you have to wait out almost 9 to 10 years before you progress to the next stage of your property cycle. Secondly, for young couples, time is on your side, but be very careful on how you manage it, as the longer time you take, the more difficult it is to upgrade later on in life. I will explain this in another video next time. For families that are not so young, time is even more precious as your runway is shorter compared to others already. Thirdly, do a portfolio review every few years to ensure that your property is working hard for you, because some properties may stay stagnant in price after a certain period of time. So switch to something that can perform better for you. End of the day, there's no one-size-fits-all solution. Do contact us for a free consultation, clear up your doubts and make proper planning even if you are not ready yet. And please do like and subscribe to our video. It really gives us great encouragement to continue to produce content for you. Once again, my name is Jay and I'll see you in the next video again.